Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Universal Journeys YouTube premiere. I am one of your hosts, Donny Winter, and I am joined with Dr. Brenda L. Bates. Follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. That is our mantra. Spirituality intersects with nearly every other aspect of our lives, even when we do not see it or realize it, and that is what Universal Journeys is about. Creativity and expression are our connections to the spiritual energy many seek to understand, and our identity is forged through this process. Universal Journey seeks to help illuminate the different intersections between creativity, spirituality, and identity in order to empower and enlighten. And as I said earlier, tonight is our premiere, so we do not have a specific topic, but we would like to lay out what our show is going to be about and the direction that we want to take it. So, and we are new to the whole Google Hangouts, YouTube live streaming thing, so bear with us. We are making the most of it, but we are really excited to be on this new platform because, well, it's fun. So, hello, Brenda dear.
Hello.
And this is totally cool because whenever one of us speaks, our picture shows up. So that is really exciting, and it kind of makes me geek out a little bit.
Yes, indeed.
So Brenda.
Yes.
I think one thing that we need to do before we continue talking about anything else is we need to define what the difference is between spirituality and religion, because spirituality, well, both are things that we will be discussing widely throughout our show, but above all else, we want to distinguish the two as well. That way people have a general idea. So how would you distinguish spirituality and religion?
Well, it's interesting that many years ago I came across a write-up of the difference between spirituality and religion. And I would like to read that if that is possible, which I know it is. So let me go ahead and read it. It's a little bit long. Again, I did not read or I did not write this, but this is what this individual's take was on the difference between spirituality and religion. And here it goes. Spirituality says that God is within us and that we do not need anything else to make this particular divine connection for us. Religion says that we are separated from God and that we need to communicate with and worship this ascended entity in order to make the divine connection. Spirituality says that we are free to make choices on our own and that we must accept personal responsibility for our actions. Religion says that we must make their choices and act their way, depending upon a given religious denomination's belief system. The theme of spirituality is fellowship through the employment of unconditional love. The theme of religion is following through fear and guilt, or fellowship through fear and guilt. Spirituality does not require us to make donations. Religion has become a big business. Spirituality says that there is no hell, no judgment, no angry God, and that we are loved unconditionally. Religion says there is a hell, God gets angry and judges us. Therefore, we are not loved unconditionally. Spirituality says we are free to choose our own path to God. Religion commands us to do it their way, depending upon a particular religious denomination's belief. Spirituality says to go to God to lighten our burden. Religion has taught us to fear their God, depending upon a particular religious denomination's belief. Spirituality says we should not be ashamed of our sexuality. Rather, it should be sacred. It should be a sacred celebration of love. Religion has taught us to feel ashamed, guilty, and dirty about our sexuality. Spirituality teaches us to honor and respect Mother Earth. Religion has told us to be thou fruitful, multiply and subdue the earth. And here it says, I repeat, subdue the earth. Spirituality reminds us that we are one with God and one with each other. Religion teaches us disunity and separation, which is the opposite of God. Spirituality says God is within everyone and everything. Religion says God and his messengers reside in heaven and that they are the only intermediaries or intermediaries for us. Oh my gosh. Spirituality says we are born in innocence and purity. Religion says we are born with sin. Spirituality teaches that we are on a long spiritual adventure and journey, which will ultimately end by reuniting with our source. Religion says we have got one life to get it all right, and there is nothing but heaven or hell after that. Spirituality says we are free to express. Religion, over time, fostered the dreaded Inquisition. Spirituality teaches us unconditional love for all. Religion, over time, fostered the Crusades, which many were killed and slaughtered in the name of God. Spirituality teaches that we should love one another unconditionally and always honor the rights and choices of others. Religion treated Native Americans, the Mayans, and other indigenous cultures as savage imperatives who must be saved. Actually, primitives. Spirituality teaches peace and harmony. Religion has caused more wars and more killing than any other reason. Spirituality says respect all living things. No one, not even once, has heard any religions say stop slaughtering millions of trees every year for Christ's birthday. Spirituality teaches us to have faith in ourselves. Religion teaches us to have faith in them. Spirituality says we have all the answers, that we can find them by going within. Religion teaches us that it has all the answers and only its answers are the right ones. Spirituality teaches us to search for the universal truths, wherefrom our hearts will tell us when we have found them. Religion teaches us to have no choice. We have no choice to accept but to accept their version of the truth. Which one of these feels better to you, spirituality or religion? Go to the depths of your heart for the answer. Indeed, it will never lie to you. There you go.
That was very interesting. My question for you, Brenda, is where did you get that from? Is that from a book or from an online source?
That was from an online source, and it was many, many, many years ago when I first started on this path that I ran across that. And I thought it was very enlightening and very resourceful as well.
Well, it's very interesting to note, and this is one thing that our show is focused on doing, is encouraging everyone to follow their heart and encouraging everyone to pursue their identity. Based on what you just said, Brenda, it seems like religion is more focused. I mean, mainstream religions, and there are always exceptions, but most religions in the past have seemed more focused on groups of people versus spirituality, which is focused on individuals. And I think it's something that's been becoming more popular nowadays because people have been introspecting more and, finding their own spiritual beliefs based on their own identity. And actually in our chat room on YouTube, by the way, if you guys want to chat with us, there is a chat room on our YouTube video that's live right now where you can post comments. Stream of Awareness, who is Cindy, said that religion is the backbone for my spirituality. So it really depends a lot on the individual. For some people, religion is the backbone, but spirituality is more of the personalized ideas that come along associated with, said belief systems. And for me personally, I would say that I usually don't consider myself religious at all, but I do have certain qualities that would make me seem spiritual in many people's books. But I don't try to label it as anything because to me, it's just a part of my identity. I don't know. What about you, Brenda?
Well, and for me, what has occurred throughout the years is taking responsibility for our own self, my own self, my actions, my reactions. And instead of counting on someone else for the answer, I've had to go inside and find them myself, because not everything that we get from people is correct for us. And that's where we need to go ahead and look deeper, look into things that resonate with us. And that's why I always say, follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. And it's because you only know which path is right for you. If it has to do with, organized religion, fine. That's where you have to be at this particular time. But don't get stuck there. I mean, I became a Catholic. Catholicism is my basis. So I still have the background of being Catholic and in the cholestatic religious way. So with that said, I haven't stopped there. I have gone into the Baptist religion. I have gone into the Methodist religion, and then I ended up in the Catholic religion. So the Catholics have brought me up to an area, up to a height that surpassed the other two. So I was able to connect with that divine source when I was a Catholic. However, at that particular time, it wasn't necessarily a roof put on me or something holding me back. They actually pushed me forward into knowing more, trying to search for more than what I already knew. And this actually came by way of Father Patrick Baggio. He always told us in his sermons that there is a difference between religion and spirituality, but he never told us what it was. The reason is because it's an individual journey. So the individual will find whether or not which direction that they feel more comfortable with. Some of us here right now, our comfort zone is in with religion, which is fine, because religion is where they want to, or they're developing their next level. They may not get there this lifetime, okay, which again is okay. Some of us, we go through that religious part of it and then get to that spirituality. They are interconnected, but it depends on where that individual is taught to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see a lot of individuals who will say everything is out of the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. It's written, and inspired by God, and blah, 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 and all the rest of that stuff. That's fine. But there is more to it. Those who teach religion and teach about the Bible, they do not teach everything within the Bible. And I'm going to give you an example because most of the people like us who are aware and use our gifts to help others are condemned for doing this. However, within the Bible, I'm going to read something that's quite long, but it's out of Corinthians 1, or 1 Corinthians 12, 1 through 31. It is from the International Version of the NIV. I took it from there because it was showed up actually on the Facebook page or feed today. But it's also in the Catholic Bible. This is where I knew this from, St. James. So here it is. It says, concerning spiritual gifts. Now about the gifts of the Spirit, brothers and sisters, I do not want you to be uninformed. You know that when you were pagan, somehow or other, you were influenced and led astray to mute idols. Therefore, I want you to know that no one who is speaking by the Spirit of God says, Jesus be cursed. No one can say Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but in all of them, and in every one, it is the same God at work. Now to each one of the manifestations of the Spirit is given for the common good. To one there is given through the Spirit a message of wisdom, to another a message of knowledge by means of the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another miraculous powers, to another prophecy, to another distinguishing between spirits, to another speaking in different kinds of tongues, and to still another the interpretation of tongues. All of these are the work of one and the same Spirit, and he distributes them to each one just as he determines. Unity and diversity in the body. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body. So it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slaves or free, and we were all given one Spirit to drink. Even so, the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Now if the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but only one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I do not need you. And the head could not say to the feet, I do not need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker or indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with simple or special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while others presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. And God has placed in the church first of all apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, of helping, of guidance, and of different kinds of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? Strive eagerly for the greatest spiritual gifts. That's what Corinthians states. So why are we being so, we don't belong to this or that or what? I have never figured that out, and I still today do not understand that.
Well, and that's the problem with many mainstream religions, is that they pick and choose what they want to use out of, their texts. And I think what you just stated there is especially important, because that's essentially what our show is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you and I, for example, we're very similar in many ways, but we do come from different backgrounds, and we bring two different perspectives to this show. You bring the more spiritual aspect, and I bring the more activist aspect. But at the same time, we both want to do good. We both want to help people. We want to make some form of difference. And we all have intuition. We have intuition to varying degrees. But according to many religions, intuition is considered wrong. And spirituality encourages the development of intuition. And I feel like that's one primary thing that we are going to have, the common thread that's going to be running through our show essentially from here on out, is that consistent spiritual idea that we do have something deep down in us that helps us understand the world better.
I agree. I totally agree with that, because and that's what we want to do, is we want to get this out there to say we are all equal, and that none of us are separate parts of the body in totality. We are all one. We all belong to one. Why can't we all get along together and accept one another for who we are? Because many of us have different gifts. And intuition is one gift that every one of us experience in our lifetime more than once.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as much people love to deny that, though, and that's the thing. But this show is about honesty. This show is about bringing awareness to these different things, because it is overlooked. It is invalidated consistently. Like, for example, I use this example on my YouTube every now and then, because being a gay YouTuber, people expect a certain thing that I do. People expect me to be provocative or very loud. And I mean, not that I'm not loud, but I can be. But there is a certain image associated with what a gay YouTuber consists of. And my goal is to show people that, there's more to me than just my sexual orientation. Don't get me wrong, that's important, but there are many other parts of me that I want considered as well. And I feel like people need to do this with intuition. People need to accept that, intuition is a very important part of an individual. Whether or not a person has religious beliefs, whether or not a person has spirituality, intuition is something that is beyond both of those, I think. But it is a part of both of those as well.
True, true. And that's where we really have to look and to see what our part is to play in this. So, to give up our God-given ability to have free will, then that is like saying that, okay, all the responsibility is on someone else, which in fact it's not. It's our responsibility. What we bring to us, we experience. And sometimes individuals who are very religious say that it's the devil. The devil made me do this. The devil did this. The devil did that. And really, it's not the devil. We need to take responsibility for our own actions and say, okay, I did this. This is the consequences. This is karma coming back and biting me. Okay. So what you put out there, you're going to get back. Take the responsibility and say, okay, I did it. I'm going to go forward with it. Let's take this and go forward. It's just, and that's the biggest beef I have right there about any religion, is especially ones that talk about the devil and things like that. It's like, you give all of that stuff and say it's the devil that made you do this. It might be the devil inside of you as your ego, your consciousness, or whatever. Okay, yes, I agree. That is the devil part of it. But you have control. You can have control of that. You just need to realize that it's you that's doing it.
Mm-hmm. And see, the thing is, it's very easy to place blame on something else or someone else.
Right.
And I agree with you. That is also my gripe with a lot of mainstream religions, is that there is zero responsibility taken. I mean, if you look back in history, there are so many religiously fueled atrocities that were basically blamed it on God, saying, oh, well, God gave me this vision. God told me to do it. There is a certain degree, like, God gave us I mean, if you are going to argue this from a religious perspective, doesn't God give us the ability to choose what we do and, select what actions we take? And I don't think that those actions are necessarily being willed by some power out there. Like, we have the choices that we make, and we have the power to make them. We have that independence. And I think that's another thing that we want to encourage here, is the fact that, there is an independence. There is a certain degree of responsibility that we must take for the actions that we have, that we make.
Right. It's free will. God gave us free will. If we the free will that we use and take for granted, or whatever you want to call it, and we put into force, uh, we have to take responsibility for that. It's not the devil that made us do it. It's our free will that actually got us to do that, that did it. I mean, there are
Mhm.
things that I regret, but you know something? I learned from those mistakes. I've learned from those incidences. And that's the key right there. If you're going through something like that, look at the silver lining. Look at, okay, why did I do that? What did I need to learn from that process? And we don't do that because what we do is we love to give responsibility to somebody else. We don't want to think that we are impure, or that we don't have those weird thoughts in our heads to go out and do something. Trust me, we all have them. Why say it belongs to someone else? The responsibility belongs to someone else when it actually belongs to us.
hmm Exactly. And I think that's why mainstream religions have such a bad rap nowadays, because people have this association in their minds that, oh, religion is used as a crutch for many people. In all honesty, it actually is. And when, like, keep in mind, I have nothing against religion, even though I am not religious. I have the utmost respect for people who are religious. But at the same time, I understand, though, that it's not religion that's creating negativity. It's how people use that religion. Religion can be used as a destructive force
Mm-hmm.
through
Yep.
people who want to use it as a as a negative outlet.
Yep, I agree. I'm looking at what is it, Steam of Awareness.
Yep,
In
Cindy, yep.
Yep, Cindy. And Cindy has in here, it's she says it's choosing to listen to the devil. The devil doesn't grab your hand and move it. You listen to him whisper and do what he's saying instead of saying, "No, get behind me, Satan." I want to address the "no, get behind me, Satan" thing, because I'm telling you what, I've used that. Only it hasn't been with the devil, it's been with my own ego. The ego is what's been getting me to do some of these crazy things. So it's not that we have to get rid of the ego, we have to put it in its place. Because once we take control and put it in its place, it can't get us to do stupid junk. So
hmm
I have told my ego and whatever else has been back there, get behind me, Satan. And I mean it when you do that, because then it's got to leave you, because it's like, get away from me. I don't want to listen to you, and I'm not going to listen to you. So that's the thing. It's like we have to take charge of ourselves, no matter how it is.
Exactly. That was very well articulated, Brenda. Excellent. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, we are coming up toward the end of our show here, actually. We have about a little over a minute left. But we really wanted to thank you all for taking the time to listen to us talk about these subjects, because we sincerely feel as though these are things that need to be put out there into the world. Like, one of my greatest qualities, and I know Brenda can also attest to this, is that we listen. And from spending so many years of listening, we want to kind of put our essence, our insight back out there by discussing these subjects. So ignore the noise in the background. That may be a train coming. I apologize. Anyway, so just to let everyone know, our show will be will be airing twice a month, on the first Monday, or not first Monday, first Sunday and the third Sunday. So our next show will be on February 7th. And what is the title of the show, Brenda? What is it going to be talking about?
Oh, let me find out here real quick.
I think it was Be My Valentine.
Be my Valentine, question mark.
Yes, like Valentine's Day obviously is a Hallmark holiday. Many people consider it a Hallmark holiday, but we're going to explore the history of it a little bit and talk about its context related to, ourselves as well. And yeah, that's basically it. But if you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel here and go like us on Facebook. We love hearing feedback and we love interacting with our listeners. Brenda, do you have any parting words for us?
I do. Don't forget, follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. And we're going to see you on the 14th, or on the 7th, I'm sorry. 14th is Valentine's Day. I'm already prepared.
Well, we will be discussing the 14th. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and you guys have an excellent evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.